Okie dokie. So here is the second part, 2 of exam 2 review. We went over the first few slides in class, so I left those out. Alrighty. So we actually may have done this one in class, but just in case, we're given A and B and C. Which coordinate pair will make AB parallel to CD? Okay, so that means they have to have the same slope. Okay, so same slope, and of course m means slope. So first I'll take these here, and of course slope is equal to y2, or delta y, over delta x. Okay, this is equal to the change in y, so 5 minus 4, not equal 1. And then we'll take 1 minus negative 1, which is the equivalent of 1 minus a negative 1 is the equivalent of adding 1, so that'd be 2, and that's a positive 2. So now we have to take this one here and figure out which one of these will work. Okay, so when we go through the all the sorts, let's try this one here, G. Okay, so when I pick, this will be my y1. Well, again, we're going to do this same process here. So delta y over delta x. Okay, so we'll say 3 minus 5. Oops. Okay, that equals negative 2 over, and then there'll be negative 5 minus a negative 4, which is like adding 4, and that still comes out to a negative 1. So, in this particular situation, we get a positive 2, right? This is not going to work. So let's go ahead and try again. Let's try this one here. Okay, so we're trying this one here, so let's do it again. Delta y over delta x. Let's go a little bit quicker here. We'll say 3 minus 4, that equals negative 1. And then we try negative 5 minus a negative 3 is like saying negative 5 plus 3. Okay, and this gives me a negative 1 over negative 2. A negative over a negative is a positive. We found our winner because it has the same slope. So J is the answer here. Alright, moving on. Okay, so in this particular situation, we're asked to, the slope of AB is negative 2/3. The slope of CD is this fraction. If AB is, and here it is, perpendicular, find the value of x. So let's go ahead and establish right now that the slope of CD is a perpendicular slope, which we do opposite reciprocal of negative 2/3 will give us a positive 3/2. Okay, so basically, if the slope of CD is equal to positive 3/2 here, and it's also equal to this, well, we just set these two statements equal to each other. So we say x minus 2 over 6 equals 3/2. Go ahead and cross multiply. We used to call it butterfly method. We don't do that anymore. We're in high school now. And we say 18 equals, well, 2 times x minus 2. I distribute. I get 2x minus 4 equals 18. Let's go ahead and take it up here. I'll go ahead and add 4 to both sides. Okay, so now when I simplify, I get 2x equals 22. Go ahead and divide out 2 both sides. And I'm left with x equals 11 here. Correct answer is A. Okay, here we're asked to write what is an equation for a line, again, perpendicular, opposite reciprocals. I'm going to go ahead and make myself a little note. Opposite reciprocals. Alright, so a line perpendicular to this equation that contains this point. So remember, the only thing we want from this equation at this point is its slope. Why? Because it'll allow us to determine the perpendicular slope. In this case, I'm going to go ahead and establish that our perpendicular slope will be a positive 3/1. Okay, and the point that it must go through is 6, 16. So I have a point, a slope. I'm going to use point, slope, form. Okay, it looks like this. Next one. So go ahead and substitute in the values. Go ahead and simplify some more. Distribute. I'm so sorry, I just realized that I had it on pause while I was working it out. So there it is, step by step. Okay, in this situation, we're given A, B, and C, kind of like one of those older ones that we tried earlier today. And we're asked which coordinate pair will make AB perpendicular to CD. So let's go ahead and find the slope of AB first. Okay, so we're going to do AB slope is equal to delta y over delta x. I'll take that as my, I'll say negative 1 minus 3. And I'll say 6 minus 1. That's my change in x values. Here I would get negative 4 over 5. So we need a perpendicular slope. Let's go ahead and establish that the perpendicular slope in this situation will be a positive 5 over 4. Okay. So once we try these different points out to determine which will give us this slope, we realize that it was actually this one here. Let me show you why. If I do a delta y over a delta x for slope, right, for this perpendicular slope that we've already established, okay, this is going to be equal to, and I'm using the c value now because it's CD, so it's 1 minus 6 over 6 minus 10. I would get a negative 5 over a negative 4. I know that a negative over a negative is a positive 5/4, so this checks out because it's that exact slope that we were looking for. Alright. So here in this question, we're asked to write the equation of a line that is parallel to M and passes through point N on the graph. Okay, so let's establish that point N here is going to be negative 3, comma 5. Okay, so negative 3, comma 5. And the slope that is parallel to M, right, would be the exact same slope that M has. So I'm going to say this is a point, and this is a point here. Okay, so I'll see a rise over run. It's going to be negative 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So negative 5, this is the slope, over a negative 1. Okay, so in fact this is positive because negative over negative is a positive, and of course the slope is it's going upwards, right, like up the hill. So let's go ahead and use our point slope form. In fact, we're told to just keep it in point slope form. So of course that's y minus y1. Okay, so there it is. We'll go ahead and fill in the pieces. So it's y minus 5 equals a slope of 5 times x minus a negative 3 is like saying plus 3, and we are done. We're asked to keep it right in point slope form, and that's how you do it. Okay, so we're asked to figure out which of these two lines are parallel. Okay, so let's go ahead and we're going to have to convert each one of these into slope-intercept form, which is y equals mx plus b. And that's our favorite one because it allows us to graph. We can see everything we need from this form. So let's take the first one here. So 5y equals 2x minus 5. Divide all sides by 5. Okay, and we'll get y equals, so we get 2/5 x minus 5 over 5 would be 1. Okay, so let's go ahead and take the second one here. Let's say 5y equals, and I'm going to go ahead and rearrange this so it looks to be more in our form. Again, we divide all sides by 5. We get y equals 3/5 x plus 4 over 5. And we'll take this last one here. I'll do it in blue, just going to change it up here. Okay, and I get 5y minus 3x equals negative 1. So right now I'm going to add this 3x to both sides to get it out of here. I'm left with 5y equals 3x minus 1. Divide everything by 5. And I'm left with y equals 3 over 5x minus 1. So we see the two that are parallel are the ones that have the same slope, which would be this one on this one. So it looks like it's 2 and 3. And we're asked for parallel. Moving on. Okay, so we are asked to write an equation to represent line A and an equation to represent line B. Use slope-intercept form to write both equations. So let's go ahead and take one line at a time here. We'll take line A first. Let's go ahead and establish that line A has a y. We're going to do it in slope-intercept form, of course. So we need a y-intercept. In this case, it's going to be 6. Okay, and then the slope for A, of course, and we're doing the A's. I'll use this point here, and I'll do a slope of negative. So it's a negative 8 over negative 4. This works out to be a positive 2. So that's our slope. Okay, and that is our y-intercept. When I put in the pieces here and I substitute the values, I get 2x plus 6. That's line A. Let's go ahead and do the same thing for line B. Okay, I'm working on B now, and I'll go ahead and do that in blue. Just going to differentiate there. So again, let's go y-intercept. In this particular situation is negative 4. Our slope. Okay, we can pick any 2 points. In fact, I'll use this point here and this point here. So this one here, to get from this point here, it's going to drop down to, so negative 2 over a positive 4. So negative 2 over a positive 4, which would get me a negative 1/2. So again, put in the parts into y equals mx plus b. I get negative 1/2 x minus 4. And that is line B. Okay, and these we determine are in fact perpendicular. Why? This is so important. Remember, they are opposite reciprocals. And I'm talking about this slope of 2 versus the slope over here of negative 1/2. Remember, the 2 positive is also like saying 2 over 1, opposite reciprocals. Okay? Okay, in this question we're asked, is the line through points P and Q perpendicular to the line through points R and S? So let's figure out PQ's slope first. Okay, again, that's delta y over delta x. I'll do it over here. Get some room. I'll take 0 minus 3 over 11 minus 7. I would get negative 3 over 4. So my slope here is negative 3/4. Okay, let's figure out our S. Okay, let's use this one here. So it's, again, 1 minus a negative 3 is like saying 1 plus 3. And then 3 minus 6. Okay, here we get 4 over negative 3. So we get negative 4/3. Okay, now we're asked, are these two lines perpendicular? And the answer is no. Although they kind of look like reciprocals, they are not opposite reciprocals. Okay? Just a few more here. So we're asked, what is the graph of 12x plus 6y equals 36? So I'm just going to rewrite it here so I can start some work. Now remember, in order to get this looked at, we have to first put it in slope-intercept form. The way it is currently right now is in standard form. So this is in standard form. We're going to go to slope-intercept form. Okay, so all I really do is get in y equals. Well, to do that, I'm first going to minus 12x both sides. 12x on both sides, that goes away. I'm left with 6y equals negative 12x plus 36. Let's go ahead and divide out 6 to all terms. And we're left with y equals negative 2x plus 6. Okay, so this is what we're working with now. So let's go ahead and find where our y-intercept is first, positive 6. So this is out of the question because that's negative 6. This is out of the question because this is negative 6. So it's either C or D. Now, we notice in C we have a negative slope, and in D we have a positive slope. Well, since our slope is negative here, our only choice is going to be C with a negative slope. Okay, let's go and take this last one here. We're asked to write the equation of the line in standard form that is parallel to the graph shown and has a y-intercept of 0, negative 5. So let's figure out the standard form. Okay, is ax plus by equals c. And a must be positive. Remember that a must be positive. Okay? So there's a little rule there. So let's figure out some stuff here first before we even think about getting to the answer. We know that we have a line that is parallel. So as long as we can figure out the slope of this line, we can figure out the slope of the line we're looking for. Okay, so this one here, I'll just use these 2 points here. Okay, and I'm just going to do a rise over run. So I'm going to say here to here. Okay, so it's negative. The slope is going to be negative. So it drops negative 8 and it runs positive 11 units. Okay, so our slope is negative 8 over 11. We know that we have this y-intercept of negative 5. Okay, I could do point slope form, but since I already know it's a y-intercept of negative 5, well, I'll just do it in y equals mx plus b first, and then we'll move some stuff around. So again, it's y equals negative 8 over 11x, and they tell us it's minus 5. I'll go ahead and move this around a bit. I'm going to move this to the other side. So I'll say plus 8 over 11x, both sides. Alright, so now I'm left with minus 5 is equal to 8 over 11x plus y. Let's go ahead and get rid of this fraction here. This 11 in the denominator I do not want. In order to do this, I have to multiply the entire equation by a positive 11 over 1. This will eliminate the fraction. So we'll distribute here, here, here. Okay, so now I'm going to go ahead and take black. I'm going to go back up here. All right, a little bit smaller. I would get 8x plus 11y equals negative 55. And this would be our final answer in standard form. It looks like that. Okay. Alright, so good luck everybody with the exam tomorrow. Review. And don't forget the black and white gray handout slide about the angle pairs. The one with the polka dot and the stars that we reviewed many times in class. It's going to help you a lot on the other part.